Hello, young or old here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the good and the not so good reasons for taking your wife or partner as a pillion on your back of your bike. Stay tuned and watch the intro. Now firstly, let's look into the legal and safety aspect of taking a pillion. A pillion must be able to rest both their feet on the appropriate rider footrests. The pillion must wear an approved helmet and be fastened correctly, the same rules that apply to the rider. As a pillion, you mount and dismount from the left hand side of the bike. Now my wife does it by placing her left foot on the pillion footrest to raise her body until her left leg is straight. She will now have her hands on my shoulders for support when doing this. Now still holding my shoulders, she will then place her right foot on the right footrest, and once she is stable she will sit down before removing her hands off my shoulders. Once seated, the pillion should sit still and be as upright as they can. Uses something on the bike or the rider to steady and brace themselves. The pillion's feet should always remain on the footrest, even when the bike is stationary. If the pillion needs to look over the rider's shoulder, then it should be the left one, as should be no passing traffic on the left. The pillion should lean with the rider when negotiating bends, but this is a skill that the pillion needs to practice and gain confidence. So, give them time to do so. I will come to the rider's duties a little bit later. But when I met an ex-girlfriend, who is now my wife, she found out about my passion for riding bikes, and she mentioned, "You'll never get me on the back of one of those." But she decided to have a go. And I'm pleased to say she still enjoys going pillion. I enjoy both solo riding and taking my wife with me. It's nice for us to have a day out and a touring holiday. My wife understands that if I want to join our group for a ride out or a tour, she knows that I would prefer her to be with me. However, if she doesn't want to go or if she is working, she will always just give me the option of going alone. Pillion comfort is paramount. If they're not comfortable, they will just wriggle about, and that does not make for pleasant riding. So if you're taking the other half on the pillion, choosing a bike that does the job is a must. And you must forgo that bike you've always dreamt of with the tiny non-existing pillion seat. As an advocate of protective gear, I make sure my wife wears all the right clothing, just the same as I do. A word of warning here, don't go and buy it for her. It will not be right. Been there and done that. I went out and purchased my wife a jacket, Kevlar jeans and some boots. It turned out the jeans were too baggy. The jacket did not go in enough at the waist, and the boots were more unisex and she wanted something with a higher heel. Yep, she knew she needed protective gear, but she wanted a more feminine style. After all, she's a woman. Come on guys, we know the score. We have a cheap Bluetooth intercom that works fine riding to pillion. But you know what, I must be getting forgetful in my old age, as I keep forgetting to charge hers up. It's a shame that. On the plus side, I don't have to listen to her trying to sing, sounding like Hilda Ogden, for those of us who can remember her character, and being a complete backseat rider. Last time we used it, it was just like this. It was la 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 la, watch that car, la 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 la, slow down. La 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 la, we're going to stop there. So I just have mine set to hear the sat nav. She tends to grab hold of my jacket belt and use it like the reins of a horse and just tugs on it if she feels I'm going a bit too fast. I wonder if she said whoa at the same time. As the rider, we are in control of the bike, but there are a few rules that really need to be followed. Now, I make sure the bike is upright and my feet are on the floor. I'm not going to slip on anything. I apply the front brake to keep the bike from moving, and then I ask my wife to mount the bike. And I just brace myself to allow for the bike being pulled to the left. Now, once she is seated, I ask her if she's comfy, and then we can proceed. This is the time I will then start the bike, and not before. As a rider, remember your ABC: acceleration, braking and cornering, as carrying a pillion will have an effect on all of these. Don't expect your wife or partner to be a good pillion the first time. If it is their first time out on the bike, they could be nervous, and it could take them time to gain confidence. Not only that, to gain confidence in your riding. When it's time to get off the bike, try and stop here again on a good surface. Put your feet down and switch off the engine. And then when you're ready, secure the bike, pull in the front brake, and then ask her to dismount in the reverse order of mounting. Never do it with the engine running and in gear. The route and the destination will also be important. If I ask my wife to join me on a bike night at Triumph, she'll mostly decline, unless some of the other wives of our group are going, because she's just not interested in walking around with the guys looking at and talking bikes. But if I mention a nice sunny day out in the Cotswolds, calling into Stratford upon Avon on the way back, she will agree. We'll travel down the old Foss Way, stop at a nice fine shop for a good coffee. Call a cappuccino and a latte. And then we'll walk round the shops with a bit more coffee and lunch somewhere. And then when we stop at Stratford, there'll be another look round the shops, more coffee or an ice cream. She'll grab a souvenir bag of fudge before the journey home. My wife agrees with me that when touring, the journey is also to be enjoyed as much as the destination. So a nice route with nice quaint places to stop for a coffee are just not important, but they're also enjoyable. If you haven't yet noticed, my wife does like her coffee. Oh, and a ciggy to go with it. So there are many advantages of having your wife or partner with you on the Pillion, sharing the hobby of riding the bikes and just spending time together. Some riders will disagree, as bikes are their hobby, it is their time out, and that's fair enough. I get both sides of the coin, as I get to spend time with her, but I also get plenty of time to ride solo and with my friends, when she's either working or she just doesn't want to go out on a particular occasion. I don't really think there are many disadvantages. One would be the choice of bike and how you like to ride it. You see a bunch of guys riding sports bike and looking like Power Rangers. I say that light-heartedly, but at least they're wearing the correct gear. Riding a group like that at speed, they will not want a pillion at all, as it would be too restrictive for them. And to be honest, a pillion seat on those bikes and the riding style is not where many pillions would want to be either. So having your wife as a pillion is not a cheap thing to do. You have to take into account the consideration of the bike, all the protective clothing, including a helmet that you'll need. You might want an intercom if your wife doesn't sing or she has a good voice, and some of the better intercoms are quite expensive. The advantage for me taking my wife is the touring holidays. If she didn't get Pillion, then she would still want to go away for breaks, meaning that I'd have to drive her somewhere, and driving just isn't my thing, as it gives me zero pleasure. So I hope you enjoyed this content, and it will give you some thought on whether taking your wife or partner Pillion is for you or not. But either way, if you like it, please do the ticks to like and subscribe, and as always, take care, ride safe, and bye for now.